The chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas has issued a statement on the resignation of Jerome Sawyer. Here's Altaviz Munnings with Chairman Moss's statement.
In a press statement issued yesterday, ZNS Chairman Michael Moss confirming that it is untrue that ZNS TV host Jerome Sawyer was fired or forced to resign by the corporation's chairman or its board. The release stated that Mr. Sawyer was hired by the present board in November 2007 under the terms of a contract approved by the board. Mr. Sawyer tendered his resignation with 1 month's notice as per the terms of his contract, reportedly to take up an offer in the private sector. The charge that Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham is using ZNS as his personal propaganda machine, Mr. Moss says, is laughable. Chairman Moss pointed out that Prime Minister Ingraham is the only Bahamian leader to have voluntarily relinquished control of the media when he ended ZNS's broadcasting monopoly in 1993 and changed the whole culture of fear and victimization that existed in this country. According to Chairman Moss, the current board has sought to ensure as far as possible that ZNS's news and programming achieves balance and is in conformity with the corporation's established editorial policy guidelines, which require, among other things, accuracy and fairness, as well as with the broadcasting rules issued by the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority. Mr. Moss noted that those who have other motives, who jealously controlled the airwaves in the past to their personal benefit, and who deliberately, quote, doctored the news, will no doubt misconstrue the current news presentation. ZNS board also continues to believe that ZNS's current affairs program needs to be expanded and improved as part of its public service mandate within the context of a strict fiscal regime. The ZNS chairman maintains that this is in sharp contrast to the inactivity of the previous board, which failed to produce audited financial statements as required by law for the entire 5 years it had oversight of ZNS. That inactivity, Mr. Moss says, did not extend to hiring. In fact, he says there was a massive buildup of employment at ZNS between 2002 and 2007, notwithstanding consultants' reports urging a downsizing. Mr. Moss indicated that there will likely always be charges of bias in a government corporation during an election season. In fact, the Broadcasting Corporation's board receives frequent complaints in this regard from all sides of the political spectrum, but has no intention of micromanaging news coverage in response to such charges. The current board continues to believe that transforming ZNS into an autonomous public service broadcaster is the only real solution to this concern. The board has made progress in that regard, but Mr. Moss says we're not there yet. Now, whether ZNS remains a state-run enterprise, becomes an autonomous entity, or is eventually privatized, the ZNS chairman said serious and responsible attention must be given to the operational and financial health of the organization. The current board has been diligently addressing these matters over the past 5 years. The release stated that the board of the Broadcasting Corporation has eliminated the backlog of neglected audited financial reports. It has made royalty payments of $2 million to the Performing Rights Society over 4 years, largely to the benefit of local recording artists, and committed to a further payment of $500,000 in the coming financial year to address failure by ZNS to make royalty payments over a protracted period. The current Broadcasting Corporation board has also resolved industrial agreements with the corporation's 2 unions, renegotiated its satellite uplink service agreement, saving almost $700,000 in fees annually, restructured management, and reduced overmanning by some 30%. The release from the board of the Broadcasting Corporation concluded that over the past 5 years, the board has succeeded in reducing ZNS's operating losses while preparing the corporation for a multi-million-dollar digital transformation entirely dependent on government financing. Implementation of this digitalization has already begun and is expected to be completed this year. I'm Altaviz Munnings, ZNS News.